Hello everyone, my name is Smriti Bhatia Malhotra and welcome to my Phenominal Channel. Today's topic is mark-to-market valuation of variance swaps. So this is a topic from CFA Level 3 curriculum. Variance swaps are instruments used by investors to take directional bets on implied volatility versus realized volatility for speculating or hedging purposes. So the underlying in this swap is basically the variance of an underlying asset. That is, we are betting on the variance, the volatility of an asset. On the settlement date, the buyer of the swap contract will pay the difference between the variance strike, which was agreed on the contract, and the annualized realized variance on the underlying over the specified period of time applied on a variance notional. So moving on, at point T in maturity, the settlement amount is equal to realized variance minus variance strike into variance notional. Among this, variance strike is already mentioned in the contract. Vega notional, also denoted by N Vega, which is basically the variance swap trade size, is already mentioned. Vega notional tells us the profit or loss in the variance swap for 1% change in volatility from strike. But as you can see, in the formula of settlement amount, we are using variance notional and not Vega notional. So where does this variance notional come from? Variance notional is basically equal to Vega notional upon 2 into strike price. This implies that the settlement amount at maturity is equal to realized variance minus variance strike into Vega notional upon 2 into strike. Strike and realized values here are squared because they are usually denoted as volatility. So to convert them to variance, we have squared both the values. After speaking about the settlement amount at maturity, let us talk about the mark-to-market value of the variance swap at time t. T is basically somewhere between the initiation of the contract and the maturity, in the middle of it, somewhere in between here. Yeah, so here is the point T, here is our maturity, and this is the initiation. Alright, to calculate the mark-to-market value of a variance swap, there are some inputs which are given as follows. First input is realized volatility. Realized volatility is basically the distance between here to here. This is the realized volatility, the actual volatility we know as of point T. This is the realized volatility that is from 0 to T. Okay. Then we have the implied volatility. Implied volatility is the volatility we do not know, that is from point T to maturity in the future. The future volatility that we can only imply and not surely know about, that is from point small t to big T. The third input is present value of maturity as of point T of $1 received at point T, that is here to here, discounted value of $1 received at this point, that is the T point, maturity point. So the mark-to-market value of variance swap at point T is equal to variance notional into present value whole multiplied by small t upon large T into realized volatility square, because this is volatility and we are talking about variance swap here, variance here. That is why we square all the values. Realized also square, implied also squared, and strike is also squared here. Alright, I hope you understand this point, guys. Realized volatility from point 0 to point T. Then there is the implied volatility is added to realized volatility to get the whole volatility of this timeline, because the strike here is for time 0 to time t. Therefore we need to get the whole value from 0 to t, which is nothing but realized volatility plus implied volatility. Alright, so capital T minus small t upon small t, this is basically annualization of realized volatility and implied volatility, and minus strike. So if this value is greater than strike, then the payoff is positive. If this value is less than strike, then the payoff is negative. This is how we get the value of variance swap at some point in between or some point before the maturity. Thank you guys. Hope you like the video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.